Hi Year 4, nice to see you all. Hope you had a nice half term. So we're starting a new topic this half term, which is called Traders and Raiders, mostly about the Anglo-Saxons and a little bit about the Vikings maybe if we have time too. And our text this half term is Beowulf, here, and see behind me. It's a really, really good book. It's an old epic poem, probably the oldest bit of English literature that there is. It was written around about between the 5th and the 10th centuries, which is when all of the Anglo-Saxons were all coming to live here. Where we live now is where all the Anglo-Saxons came to live, and lots of them came from Germany and Denmark and the Netherlands, some from Scandinavia, all from the sort of east of the country across the sea, mostly around to Norfolk and all around where London and Kent is, and further up in our country as well. And this book was written, not this actual book, but this story of Beowulf was written long time ago. And like I said before, it's one of the oldest pieces of English literature that there is. It starts off, you might find a little bit difficult at first, and today's lesson is going to be a bit of a longer lesson just because it's our first one and I'm introducing it. But as the days go on this week, there'll be nice little short tasks, because I know it's harder to work at home than it is at school. And there'll be 4 Beowulf lessons every week, and then a spag or spelling on the Friday, a bit like how we do it in school, really. There'll be some difficult words in this text, and I'm just going to show you a few of those. Okay, so here's a little map. So England is on the left of this map. So you can see you've got the Frisians, the Angles, the Danes, that's Denmark. Now the Geats, where it says Geats, it's pronounced Geats, and that's where Beowulf comes from, the Geats. Okay. And then I just wanted to show you a little bit of vocabulary here. So we've got the Danes and the Geats, that's how you pronounce it in brackets. Mead, which is an alcoholic drink made from honey, but if you think of it just like beer. And Healach, which is the name of one of the kings. Hrothgar, which is another king. Heorot is the name of a great hall that they go to. Okay, and today, if you wanted to write a title, we're going to be visualizing and drawing a character, and we're going to be writing 2 expanded noun phrases to describe a character. Okay, so we're visualizing and drawing a character, and we're writing 2 expanded noun phrases. So it's going to be a nice lesson. There's going to be quite a little bit of reading at the beginning, so it's going to be a little bit longer. The other lessons this week are quite nice and short ones. Stranger, called Healach. The men near the king stopped talking and picking their teeth and swilling stone-cold mead over their gums. Stranger, called Healach. In the hall of the king of the Geats, 100 men listened. Almost silence. The cat fire hissed and spat, and golden-eyed tapestries winked out of the gloom. Silence. The man rose from the stranger's seat. Your name, demanded Healach. Gangleri, said the stranger, or in your tongue, wanderer. All right, wanderer, it's time you sang for your supper. Men on the mead benches shifted their buttocks and stretched out their legs. The gathering faced inwards towards the fire. Wanderer stood in the poet's place by the hearth, and he rubbed his one gleaming eye. I'll fuel you with a true story, and one close to my heart. This story of past and present and future. How can it be true if it's in the future? Called Beowulf. Because it's not finished, said Wanderer. You must finish it. Beowulf. How old was he? Not more than 20. felt his cheeks flush with quickening blood. Long, long ago, Denmark was a wild place. Gruesome monsters roamed the misty moors. At night they howled and growled and shrieked and snarled. The king of the Danes, a warlord named Hrothgar, refused to be scared. He built a huge hall for himself on top of a craggy hill at the edge of the moors. The hall was made of the finest wood, decorated with ivory, silver, and dazzling gold. The king called it Heorot. Each night, the king invited his bravest warriors to a lavish feast of roasted meat with jugs of frothing mead. The huge hall shook with singing and laughter. The men ate and drank until they fell asleep, safe together in warmth. But outside, something evil was rising. Grendel, growled Wanderer. Grendel is his name. The hall was firelit and warm, and the Geats there felt chill. No one knows where he lives. He ranges the moors, the fen, and the fastness. He is the father of every evil being, monsters and dark elves and spiteful spirits. Wanderer slowly turned back to face his audience. One night, Grendel came to Heorot. He came calling on the Danes when they were dead drunk, sprawled out and snoring. That monster barged in and he broke the necks of 30 thanes. 30! He carried them out into the night and away to his lair. Beowulf crouched on the edge of a bench, intent, almost angry. Next morning, said Wanderer, when Hrothgar came to the hall, its guardians were gone, all 30 of them, and of Grendel there was not a trace, except his gruesome spoor. Wanderer said the words so that no one could mistake them or escape them. He was back the next day, continued Wanderer, and after that the Danes learned their lesson. Those who had escaped his clutches stowed themselves into dark crannies and corners in the outbuildings. The great hall of Heorot stood deserted after nightfall. For 12 years now, Grendel has terrorised the Danes. Men and women and children, old and young, they all live under the dark death shadow. He is so strong, so huge, so loathsome that no one is able to do anything about it. That's all we're going to read today. So I'm going to go through what you've got to do today, but basically you've got to draw a picture of Grendel. You're going to try and visualise him in your head, and you're going to draw a picture of him, and you're going to write some labels around the side, and then underneath you're going to do 2 expanded noun phrases. And then in tomorrow's lesson, you're going to turn today's work into a really, really good paragraph describing the character of Grendel. That was my cat. Right, I'm just going to do a screen share. Your task is to draw a picture of Grendel, an illustration of Grendel, this huge, loathsome, fearsome, gruesome monster who's killed 30 Danes. He's broken the necks of 30 thanes. Thanes was the name of the people that owned land there. The more richer people that were all asleep, and they'd been drinking and they were all snoring asleep in Heorot, this great hall, and this gruesome monster called Grendel has come in and killed them all. And your task today is to draw the most fearsome monster that you can. It doesn't matter if he doesn't look like how he looks in the books, and I'll be showing you what he looks like in these books tomorrow. It doesn't matter because the people that have drawn those are just illustrators, and everybody has their own idea of what he looks like. So you've just got to draw this most disgusting monster that you can draw, that you can imagine in your heads. And then around the edge of your illustration, you could put some labels pointing to different things, you know, whether he's got horns or claws, or talons is a really good word for claws, isn't it? What type of skin he's got. Is it like a reptile skin and scaly, or is he covered in sort of slimy, sticky fur, mud, or how huge he is. I mean, it does say how huge he is there, but you could put how many feet tall he is, how strong he is, whatever. And then underneath your drawing today, the second part of what you're doing today is you're going to write 2 expanded noun phrases, and you're going to try and do 2 really perfect expanded noun phrases that you can use in tomorrow's work, because tomorrow's work is going to be writing a descriptive paragraph. So you're going to use these 2 really perfect sentences that you write today in your paragraph tomorrow. So I'm just going to screen share to quickly remind you what expanded noun phrases are. So here's an expanded noun phrase about some ice cream. So the ice cream is the noun, and then you've got 2 adjectives, yummy, then a comma, and then cold. So that's a very basic expanded noun phrase. Yummy, cold, ice cream. 2 adjectives, yummy and cold, and then ice cream is your noun. So you've got to write 2 expanded noun phrases today, but I want one to end with a simile if possible, and one to have the preposition with at the end of it if possible too. So here we go. Here's one of a dragon, which has a simile at the end of it. So it's got 3 adjectives: ferocious, deadly, and angry. And then it's got dragon as your noun, but yours will be possibly monster. Then it's got with, so you've got a preposition with, so you're making it a longer sentence. With sharp, another adjective, talons, which is your noun, which means claws. Then you've got a simile at the end of it, like daggers. So I'd like you to try and write one like that about Grendel underneath your picture of Grendel. So it could be a huge, gruesome, loathsome monster with sharp talons like daggers. So I've borrowed the second bit of that one. Then when you've done your first sentence, your first expanded noun phrase, I want you to write one. There's another one here. This just ends in with, so it's actually a bit of a simpler one here. A, adjective, comma, adjective, comma, adjective, monster, with, adjective, noun, hairy, skin, whatever you want to write at the end there. Okay, so you've got 2, an illustration of Grendel with labels around it, and 2 expanded noun phrases underneath. Okay, and that's the end of today's lesson. But if you haven't done your drawing yet, if you're watching the whole of that first, I'm just going to now read to you the description of Grendel again. You might want to listen to it while you're drawing, or listen to it with your eyes closed, so you can try and really imagine the most gruesome monster that you can before you draw it. Okay, have a good lesson. See you tomorrow. Bye. Grendel, growled Wanderer. Grendel is his name. The hall was firelit and warm, and the Geats there felt a chill. No one knows where he lives. He ranges the moors, the fen, and the fastness. He is the father of every evil being, monsters and dark elves and spiteful spirits. Wanderers slowly turned back to face his audience. One night Grendel came to Heorot, and he came calling on the Danes when they were dead drunk, sprawled out and snoring. that monster barged in and broke the necks of 30 thanes. Thanes were like Danish landowners. 30. He carried them out into the night and away to his lair. And a lair is the name of an animal home, so it's where he took these 30 sort of warriors after he'd broken their necks and carried them all back to his home. For 12 years now, Grendel has terrorised the Danes. Men and women and children, old and young, they all live under the dark death shadow. He is so strong, so huge, so loathsome that no one is able to do anything about it. Okay, right. Good luck. I hope you do a lovely drawing of Grendel, or a gruesome drawing of Grendel, and manage to write 2 really good expanded noun phrases. See you tomorrow. Bye.